Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and a very big welcome to you if you are born under the sign of Scorpio. And that's for the sun in Scorpio, the rising sign, also known as the ascendant, or the moon in Scorpio, because this is the ultimate overview for you for 2024. So what I've done is I've broken it down into manageable, digestible headlines, because I'm not going to go through each month because there's just too much. So I've picked out a few of what I feel are the relevant headlines that we would all like to know about and how they're affecting our particular lives. So with no further ado, Scorpio, let's see what's happening for you. Let's start with Mercury retrograde, because of course we open the new year with Mercury retrograde, and this is in Sagittarius, and this happened in December of 2023. But the good news, and it actually is really good news, because it goes direct on the 2nd of January. This is like a really good kind of introduction for you for the new year. And it's in your second house of finance. But remember, the second house is also about how much we value ourselves, how much we actually give ourselves credit, because sometimes we can be our own worst enemies, and Scorpio can go down that windy path sometimes into negativity, and you can get quite dark down there if you allow yourself. And this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which of course Sagittarius is about truth, honesty. It's also about that sense of higher frequencies and dimensions, that sense of being much more aware about yourself. You might have found you've actually learned something about you whilst Mercury has been retrograde. And so you can kind of consolidate it now with Mercury's forward motion in your second house. So that's the kind of main kind of news you need for the opening of the year. And I think that's quite cool, because that means you are going to be feeling better about you. Now, the other major big news for January, which I'm sure you are probably aware of, is about my big small dwarf planet, Pluto, our planet of transformation, our planet of personal empowerment, the ruler of your sign, Scorpio, along with Mars, as you know. Excuse me. So your ruling planet Pluto has been in Capricorn for about nearly 17, 18 years. There will have been a little bit of flirting with the opposites or the other sign when it went into Capricorn, and then of course when it's about to go into Aquarius. Now, of course, Aquarius is your 4th house of home and family. Have you moved? Are you thinking of moving? Because if you haven't, then that's on the cards whilst we have this energy of Pluto moving into Aquarius. Now, it moves in for you on the 21st of January. And what's interesting is the sun is in Aquarius at the same time, so that Pluto and the sun are conjunct. This is like a really good omen, because the sun is our heart, our soul. It's the beating heart of our solar system. Without the sun, we would really, we wouldn't be here. And Scorpio, as much as you like the dark, the sun needs to be your friend. And I think that it's very interesting that the sun is conjunct Pluto when it moves into Aquarius. So it's as if the sun is really sort of shedding light for you on where you live so that you can decide over the next few months, maybe year, am I really where I want to be? Is this where I want to be for the next 20 years? Remember, Pluto's going to be in this part of your chart for 20 years. Is this actually what I want? Do I want to make changes to my current residence? There's all sorts of things like that come up, that can come up with this Pluto move into Aquarius. But there'll be more of that later in the year when I look at when Pluto fully moves in November. So let's leap ahead. We'll whiz through February, March, because it's not that there's nothing happening. It's just that we would really be here all day if I went through every single aspect of each month. So that's why I'm picking out the juicy bits. And the next thing is a Mercury, our planet of communication again, going retrograde in Aries. And this is in your 6th house on the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. Now, the 6th house, as you know, is about your day-to-day working routine. So you might find that Mercury is giving you the opportunity to make changes to your routine, tweaking it to make it a little bit more personal for you. So remember, this is April, because I think there are, Scorpio, going to be quite a few changes for you in April, because also in your 6th house on the 8th of April, we have a solar eclipse, a total new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Now, this is big because remember, a new moon is about new beginnings. We're in the 6th house about your working routine, service to others, can also be your health. And it's a solar eclipse. So how does this kind of work out for you? I suspect it's asking you to make some quite big decisions about your working life. And this will be how it affects you psychologically. There may be some letting go to let the new in. That could be part of what this energy is about. And if we take it in respect of your health, then this solar eclipse is suggesting that you pay attention to any health issues that arise around this time and nip them in the bud. Because remember, Mars rules Aries. Mars is also your ruling planet, along with Pluto. Mars can mean something quite cutting with health. So there may be some small surgical procedure that some of you have to undergo. It doesn't mean every Scorpio is going to go through this at all. It's just that this is one of the things that can happen with this energy. But let's move on to the 20th of April. Because in your 7th house, Taurus, your house of significant close personal relationships, we have the most amazing energy, the most amazing conjunction between my big outer boys, Jupiter, our planet of surprise, our planet of opportunity, of luck, of just higher frequencies coming in, spiritual enlightenment. It's conjunct Uranus, our planet of innovation, our planet of the unexpected, our planet of invention, our planet of, well, just completely upsetting the apple cart. This could be big with regard to relationships. If something has to go, it's time for it to go. Because if it hasn't gone already, then you're preventing the new from coming in. So there's something very significant, because what could come in for you, Scorpio, because this is your 7th house, is a relationship that you are far more deserving of, and it would be quite unexpected. And this relationship would be on the spiritual level that you currently find yourself on. Because I'm making a kind of wild assumption that as Scorpio, if you're watching me talking about your chart, then you probably are very open to a more spiritual way, intuitive way of looking at life. Let's look at also what's happening on the 25th of May, because Jupiter, this wonderful planet of luck and opportunity, leaves your 7th house, leaving with giving you the gift of awareness, of love, of opportunity, of change. And it moves into your 8th house, Gemini. Now, Gemini, of course, is the house or the sign of communication. And this is going to be a boost to anything that is jointly owned financially. This is a boost to anything to do with buying property. This is a boost to investments that you've got. Maybe in the world in general at this time, the financial economy of the world will have settled down a bit and be in a more upward and bearish trend. Check out my overview for 2024, which is also on my YouTube channel, my ultimate overview for 2024, because there are a lot of key points in there which will help you make sense of your own chart. So let's see what else is happening, because by July the 15th, we have a rather tricky aspect and conjunction in your 7th house, Taurus. Now, the reason I'm picking this one up is because it's your ruling planet Mars, the planet of energy, action, assertion, sexuality, dark things, wearing black. Well, Mars is conjunct Uranus, because remember, Uranus is going to be in your opposite sign for about another 18 months to 2 years. So Uranus and Mars conjunct means something very sudden is going to erupt with regard to relationships. This could be a shocking surprise. It could be a unexpected and shocking sort of argument. But why I'm telling you is that you need to have the heads up about it, because it's about, if there is anything that's a little bit edgy with relationships, this is really about responding, not reacting. You will often hear me say this: respond to situations, don't react. Now, before I move on to September, where things start to hot up, I just want to remind you that if you would like to have, I'm going to put a little advert in here. So I'd just like to remind you that if you would like to have a personal one-to-one consultation with me to look at your natal chart, your transits, find out answers to life's soul path directions, questions, why don't you go to my website, pennydix.com? And I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I do everything the old-fashioned way. So you send me an email on penny@pennydix.com. It's all on the website. I reply and we have a nice little chat so that we can decide the time that will suit both of us best. Because remember, we're dealing usually with a lot of vastly different time zones. Remember, I'm in the middle of Central Europe in the Mediterranean. So I am 6 hours ahead of New York, just to give you a little bit of a kind of a gauge as to where to pitch this. But if you would like to have a one-to-one with me, I do it via Skype. Skype is great. It's easy. I send you an instant link. It's all recorded, very easy. At the end of it, you've got it there. You download and save it. End of advert. Back to your chart. 2nd of September, Pluto will move back into Capricorn in your 3rd house of communication. Now, it's been here for a long time. It's been trying to empower you with how you put yourself across to people, the way you communicate. Some of you could have found yourself in teaching roles and working quite hard with anything to do with how you write things, how you put things across. Some of you may have become detectives or barristers, even lawyers, with this kind of energy. Scorpio likes to get to the truth, remember, and it has a kind of an energy of going down to the very depths of what's going on to find out the nugget of gold that sits in the bottom of the murky pond. Well, Pluto in Capricorn from the 2nd of September. Then on the 17th of September, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Just do my little oceans of emotions. And it's in your 5th house of fun. But remember, it's a full moon. So maybe you've been having a summer of actually kicking back and enjoying yourself. And why not, Scorpio? Because I do think the first half of the year, you're going to be working very hard, but enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. And I think this full moon lunar eclipse is giving you a chance to let go a bit, to just kind of get back in touch with you. Because if you think about Pisces, it's a very fluid, boundaryless energy. It's mutable. And you are fixed, Scorpio. This is trying to allow you to be set free. So I think September could be a very helpful month for you, a time for you to really connect with yourself. Now, as you know, eclipses always come in pairs. So we have a solar eclipse in Libra in your 12th house on the 2nd of October. Now, this is super interesting because Libra, of course, the 12th house, is about the inner you. It's about that inner self that needs to be transformed. And it's a solar eclipse. So this is a new moon. So this is giving you a new opportunity to really get to know yourself this year much better. Some of you may choose at this time because there may be some energies around that are a little bit confusing, so that some of you may choose to seek out your own therapist or counselor or coach. And October, we then have on the 11th of October, Pluto, our lovely dwarf planet, our planet of transformation, your ruler, goes direct in Capricorn, in your 3rd house. It's been in there tidying up your documents, the way you communicate, getting your affairs in order. Pluto finally goes direct. Excuse me, Scorpio. I've got a terribly dry mouth this morning. I don't know why. It's because I'm rushing around trying to find all these pussycats I'm looking after and make sure they're all okay. Anyway, back to your chart. Pluto goes direct in Capricorn on the 3rd. Sorry, on the 11th in your 3rd. I do apologise. And finally, on the 19th of November, Pluto moves into Aquarius in your 4th house. So this is when I was saying that this is a big, big energy, because the 4th house is not only where you live, but it's also about your family. It's about your ancestral past. It's about your DNA. It's about your soul contracts. Pluto is going to be here for 20 years, enabling you to transform your living space, either from one location to another at some point during the time whilst it is here, or it will be you transforming your living space into something that suits you now and for the foreseeable future. There can be big changes within the family, huge changes. We can't even begin to sort of predict what they can be, but changes for family, for children, for you, for parents, for loved ones. But this is big stuff, because also remember, Aquarius is about those higher energies, those higher frequencies. It's going to help you tune in, all of us, wherever Pluto in Aquarius is in our own charts, whatever sign you are. The fact that Pluto's moving into Aquarius is going to help raise our consciousness and our vibration of awareness to these higher energies and frequencies, so that we will be able to understand more about the energies that are around us all the time, that we cannot see, feel, or touch. So, big stuff, big stuff. And then Mercury, our planet of communication, guess what? It goes retrograde again. And isn't it funny? It's back in your 2nd house, Sagittarius, on the 26th of November. It's really interesting because when I'm recording this, that's exactly where Mercury is. And it's about to go retrograde. So it's interesting how, as it goes round, it repeats its pattern. And so it's giving you this opportunity to get some kind of manage your finances in a better way. Be perhaps super honest with yourself about any expenses where you've been perhaps being a little bit extravagant. You, Scorpio, extravagant? Well, maybe sometimes, because your opposite sign, remember, is Taurus. So you do have a little bit of that fondness for luxury. And so Mercury goes retrograde on the 26th. Now, we've also got another retrograde, this time with your other ruler, Mars. Mars, our planet of energy and action and assertion. Mars that can also sometimes mean surgery. I just want to say that because sometimes, and I'm not suggesting in any way it's for you, Scorpio, I just want you to be aware that this is what it can mean, because sometimes there is something known as psychological surgery, where if one is, for instance, a therapist, one has to go in with a kind of metaphorical knife to cut through the resistance, to set a client free from what they are being held back by. Now, Mars is going retrograde in your 10th house on the 6th of December. It's Leo. Leo, of course, is really about you, your career, and how you do like to have a career that in many ways puts you out there in the public eye. That's why I was saying earlier, you'd make a good barrister, a good judge, Judge Jeffries, putting your black cap on, to sort of condemn someone. Scorpio, it's just in your nature, but you might find you do it metaphorically, but you know that that is not helpful energy, because you are evolved enough now to know that actually we have to work and live in the light. And this Mars retrograde is going to help you slow down with your business plans, your career plans. If you're retired, this is about the things you're passionate about, your projects, to just slow down and look at what you've achieved so far and what else you could actually kind of bring in. So the next big news before the Christmas season is that Mercury, our planet of communication, goes direct in your 2nd house, Sagittarius, on the 15th of December, which is different from this year, 2023, where it doesn't go direct till January the 2nd. So it means that the Christmas and New Year period for you of 2024 should actually be quite buoyant, and there should actually be some nice energy around for you to really kick back and have some fun. But remember, Mars will still be retrograde in Leo and then in Cancer, which is your 9th house of higher education. So you may be going back over something that you've been learning or looking at, or sort of, sometimes we do education late in life. We choose something to really get our teeth into, and you may be doing a refresher course at this time. Well, Mars will finally go direct in your 9th house, Cancer, in February 2025, on the 24th of February. So quite an interesting year. In general, if I wanted to kind of give you just an idea, an overview of what 2024 is like, I think it is full of some interesting twists and turns. I think there are some wonderful opportunities of growth. and opportunities to cut the dead wood out of your life. I think in general, Scorpio, you are going to feel much more personally empowered and able to walk your talk and hold your head up high. You've been through some tricky years. Remember, some of you could meet a special someone who is on the same spiritual frequency of you, whatever age you are. That could happen. Shall I leave you with that nice thought? Even if you're in a really good relationship, it will move up a notch. It will really move up to a level that you didn't think was possible for it. So on that note, I will bring your ultimate overview of 2024 to a conclusion. Apologies for the sips of water and dry mouth, but there we go. I just have so much to say and I get so super excited, and that probably doesn't help either. So thank you so much for joining me for this overview. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you're new here watching this for the first time, I would super love it if you'd subscribe and tell your friends about this. And also remember, there is the downloadable, purchasable course, which is the beginner's guide to learning how to read your natal chart, which has some little videos done by me. It also is going to have some extra bits popped into it soon when I get round to doing them, hopefully through the month of December, because I want to just update it a bit. And there's also the wonderful moon chart that Andrea Britton has produced for 2024. So you know exactly what the moon is up to, its phases, its eclipses, full and new moons. So there we go. I think that's all I need to say. Thank you so much, Scorpio. Let me wish you a blessed, healthy, wonderful, and fortunate 2024. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.